Welcome back. It is a Saturday, and as you can hear it no doubt in the mic, a bit windy. Yeah, it's 23 degrees, quite a nice temperature even with the breeze. We're notorious in Canterbury for knowing that the breeze can be quite cold, even on a warm day. But today, I'm just looking to see whether there was any deliveries. Saturday, not very often does that happen, but there you go. But yeah, we quite often here in Canterbury, where I live, we'll get be warm temperatures but flaming cold wind. But today, not so much. It is a warm one. Anyway, out to the workshop I went this morning, and I was working on sorting out what panels will go where for, a couple of jobs I've got on hand. And I made an observation that it was kind of like, again, I keep on referring to the poor old Homer Simpson, but it's one of those moments where you go, yeah, of course. And it was to do with my track saw. And I was lucky enough that I came to the use of a track saw quite late in the scheme of things, and they'd been around for donkey's years, and a lot of people have used, understood how they work, shortcomings, etc., made accessories, and as I said, I came to it late, and I was lucky enough that when I purchased the track saw some months ago, a lot of those developments had already been made. I saw them being promoted and explained, and I would buy them to add to my track saw. So I did with this one. It's a accessory that attaches to the rail and cut at 90 degrees, and you get measurements and all the rest of it. All well and fine. Occasionally I'll make a cut without that requirement because it's just a starting cut. But this morning I had to make a cut there, which I did using that. But then I was going to then cut along this way at 90 degrees using that. But it was a wee bit short. I thought, oh, how rude. Do I take that off and put it on the longer assembled track? No, because I've dedicated it to being used on that one, because from a previous video you might have heard me going on about the difference in the manufacturing tolerance for this particular rib, the one that locates and guides the track saw. So I wanted to keep it on that rail so that I don't use it inadvertently elsewhere. Anyway, that's not important at the moment. So as you can see, I put the longer track assembly on there, and I thought, oh, hang on a minute. Oh, why don't I just use a square? Now, that will not come as anything new to those that use track saws, and they'll probably do it more often than not. But I always had that, never really thought about that in this situation. And when I did it, I said, oh, duh. And this was the thing with, if you understand your tools at a more basic level, then you're probably better off than having all the clever stuff, because you'll understand how to get around problems. And that started my brain whirring this morning, and I thought, yeah, that's exactly like the argument that we had way back when we were saying about using hand tools instead of powered tools when we're learning our carpentry skills and methods. And it was always a debate, because we're living in the new era. This is way back there when I was doing my apprenticeship. It wasn't actually thought that hand tools were that necessary. It was probably evenly split. If I had to have a guess, probably the people were evenly split. And I was of the camp that, yes, you should learn how to use hand tools. Many years later, I had that proven to me. One guy, he was working for me on a job, and he had never used, or doesn't even have in his kit, a hand plane. he used the end of a sander to do whatever he's had to do. Now, he didn't learn his carpentry skills through an apprenticeship, and he wasn't actually a carpenter. He was actually a real estate agent that decided that, oh, I can make more money in real estate, in building. Don't get me onto that subject with him. But I thought, I was really mortified that he didn't have available even a hand plane. Couldn't conceive that was possible. And then when you're learning how to, say on a job, stand up trusses when you're building a roof, well, wouldn't you have been better off learning how to pitch a roof out of individual sticks, components, rafters, hips, under purlins, strutting ridge beams and all the rest of it? Wouldn't it be better to know that? Well, a lot of people say, well, I've never had to put any of those up. I go, okay, but you don't make the exception the rule. And when you learn how to do something with basic knowledge and, well, practice, you're better off later on. Anyway, came back to this, and I thought, well, yeah, that's dead right. If I learnt how to use the track saw using more simple methods, when I come to that job that I can't use something like this for, I'm going to be way better served by having that more basic information and knowledge. It's like these videos, and I'm assuming some of them must be just the people taking the mickey, but they go out onto the street and ask the Joanne and Joe average, what's the time? And they show them an analog clock. And I'm going, oh, this must be, that can't be serious. But apparently some people never learned the process of telling time with anything other than a digital clock. No, that can't be real. Well, it was a bit like the conversation that was on the radio. Learning how to drive a vehicle, as I understand it, because it was never a thing in my day, today you can get a license that it's been annotated that you've got a license for automatic vehicles. Now, is that true? I don't know. But it did sound quite authoritative in the conversation that was being had, but I can't verify it. But when I thought about it, well, yeah, most vehicles, my work vehicle is now an automatic, my car's automatic. The previous van was, well, automatic. I can't remember how far I go back before I had a manual work vehicle. But in a commercial environment, many work vehicles are manual. So if you go to work now, you leave school, you've got your license, but it's only for automatics, you go there compromised. Wouldn't it be better to have a manual license? Well, yes. If there was an emergency and you had to transport someone using their vehicle, which was manual, would you be able to do it? So a life skill, learning the basic fundamental things, is probably going to pay off at some stage, if not immediately, but at some stage. And that's what I'm talking about here. I was spoiled because I came to the party late, bought all the wee goodies, and now, when I went to do this job, I realised that I was compromised, and then I thought, oh, hang on, just use a flaming square. You bought it for a reason, use the darn thing. So I did, and now I'm happy. And now, you're probably not, because I've made this long-winded video talking about doing things with basic tools. The KISS approach, of course, is probably what I'm referring to. How often is that true? We often said in the building industry, again, I'll go harking back to that if you've got a good foundation, then the rest of the building will benefit from it. Is it required to have that really, really, really good foundation? And you go, well, unless it's really bad, well, no, it doesn't. But all of the fundamentals stay for you later on. And when I watch other videos now, and I cringe when I look at what they're doing, but that functions perfectly. I'm thinking, well, that's you, I'm me, good on you, I'll carry on doing it my way. But half the time they had no choice but it to be a rough version. Anyway, that's my problem, not anyone else's. So that was where I came back to this, and I thought, haven't made a video in, hours. So, yeah, using something, understanding your tools, and you can move forward much, much more successfully. One of the reasons here is that the panels that I'm actually going to cut out are only going to come partway through this panel, and I wanted to cut them out so that I've still got the offcut that's full length, so I can make better use of it later on. Like all these strips that are over there, these will become the sides and ends of some of my drawers that I'll be making. Ditto for here. So I didn't want to cut them all up, then have little offcuts which will be thrown out. Okay, that's it. I know, long-winded, but yeah, it just caught me by surprise that I had ignored the basics of using the rails like this. So, yippee. Well, I'm happy. If you're not, well, I'll put it this way. If you're about to get your track saw, but you think you have to buy all the goodies, well, no, you don't. If you can use your track saw with things you've already got, yeah, you're probably well served. There you go. That's it. I'll end this one, and yeah, I know. You'll see me in the next one, won't you? Okay. Bye.